Hey everyone, it's Clint. Welcome to Sweetcast. Back to kind of a regular video, at least one with a thumbnail. Thumbnails are huge. People don't like to watch videos unless they have a thumbnail. And even then, it's like it's got to be something amazing with a beautiful woman on it. That makes a big difference. All right, so here's the thing. I got to tell you a little story here first. So, like I said, I had some help with fulfilling my crowdfunding campaign, and all of the people helping weren't into comics. And some of the, I had a few high school students come over, and first, I always wanted to lay out what it means to collect comics. I just briefly explained in a, just a very succinct way who my customers are. And what I described to them was the most nitpicky customer. All right. And I should give this customer a name. It's not an actual person. Maybe you can relate a little bit, but I think making an archetype for a customer is important. I think the best companies do this. They understand it for marketing. Because that way you're going to tailor your messaging, you're going to tailor your product to this archetype for a customer. Yes, you're generalizing customers, but it's actually a good thing. So in my case, I told them something like, my customers are adult men. Think it's an adult man who enjoys collecting comics, and he's going to put this up on his shelf and he's going to love it and cherish it. And he wants it to be in pristine condition when it arrives, so that he can keep it in pristine condition. Now, that might not describe you. Maybe you bought the book and you don't care. This is sort of a, I had more misprints this time around. I've got a bunch that I just can't send to people. But yeah, anyway, so maybe it's one that you like to just read and flip through. You're going to be bending pages. You're going to be tossing it on the couch or the floor. And so that doesn't apply to you. But if we treat everybody like they are this very meticulous customer that is, they want the collectability out of the comics, you can't go wrong, because that means you're going to be sending everyone a comic that is in pristine condition, or as close to it. If you're going to get your microscope out, I don't know, but you get the idea. This is how I understand that archetype of a customer. I could probably break down maybe two other archetypes for customers, and between those three customer archetypes, I'm going to cover every single one of my own customers. So the problem that DC Comics and the mainstream comics in general, the problem they're going through right now is they do not understand their customers, or at least they thought they did, and they were wrong. They have an archetype of a customer that is into superhero comics, that's probably male, most likely, and probably white, most likely. The problem is that they saw that customer for those superficial characteristics over what that customer really wants. It's a customer that's into reading comics, somebody that respects art, comic art, somebody that is into collecting, at least to some degree. If you're going to be buying books, there's a whole number of items that define this customer besides their superficial characteristics. So because they've struggled so much with defining their customers, they're struggling right now to make sales and to get support from those customers. So in this case, DC Comics appoints new general manager to start in mid-September. This general manager has a background. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but they have a background in eSports. We've seen this kind of thing here before. It's not necessarily a bad idea at face value, but when you get into it, it can be a bad idea. If this new manager who has experience in esports knows how to make money on entertainment for that kind of demographic, that they're aiming for, I can see at face value how that could be a good thing. But on the other hand, esports is not comics. They do have different customers, and you can't just define them by somebody that's into entertainment. Like you have to get a little bit more granular than that. I suspect this is going to cause some big growing pains or shrinking pains, whatever you want to call it, at DC Comics, because you're going to have people there that do understand their customers. You're going to have people there that maybe thought they did and they're not sure. They resent their customers, and then you've got this new general manager that doesn't. He understands customers from an entirely different industry. This is going to be difficult, I think, for a lot of people. All right, so their role, we don't know yet who it is. Their role is intended to take up duties performed by the current editor in chief, Bob Harris, who's believed to be one of the number leaving the company. Okay, while other duties will be shared amongst the existing editorial staff. Okay, so there's really not much more here. Bleeding Cool has told us that much. They actually have a specific date, September 18th. Why on earth does all of this leak through Bleeding Cool? The thing I will never understand about DC Comics is that they don't put out their own freaking press releases. Like, you should control your own message. It's getting out anyway. Now you've got the snarky, snarky colored glasses, whatever color that is, from Bleeding Cool, and they're essentially spilling all the news for a company in the most sarcastic way that they possibly can. So maybe knowing that it's going to be leaked to Bleeding Cool, you ought to take control and just spread the message yourself and control the narrative. That'll never happen because DC Comics just doesn't. They just don't. They refuse to do that. All right, so this is this is going to be rough here. So it continues here. I understand that employees are being required to work their notice period from 2 or 3 months, depending on their contact or position. This will enable more gradual change than their dropping off the cliff. Some feared, but it was is man, this is the worst worded thing. This will enable a more gradual change than the drop off the cliff. Some people feared, but it is this is the worst sentence. Oh my gosh. Anyway, they're saying it's going to be more gradual of a death. It'll be, loving. It'll be on life support. Probably be given, some kind of drugs or something for comfort reasons, and it'll slowly slip away sometime during the night. Besides that, I know this video really went off the rails. Appreciate you listening. We're gonna go with that video recording because I've got so much stuff to do. I need to print it's like 100, under 200 shipping labels, but besides that, everything else is printed and boxed up. I've just sent out the 3 people that bought prints and the 2 people that paid me to do a sketch in front of their book, and I want that to look good. So I'm going to practice. I'm going to do couple practice runs, dry runs, and then do my very best to do a nice sketch in the front of those 2 people's books. And I got to send out the original cover too. Ethan actually bought it. That's it. I'm finished. Then Downcast is finished. I'm sure there'll be some people that have things lost in the mail, or they're gonna, a number of things could come up, and so that'll be over the course of the next few weeks to a month of just finding out, shipping details. But yeah, man, really tomorrow I'm taking a load to the post office. I already went early this morning. I'm gonna take one more tomorrow. That'll be the final run to the post office, and Downcast is officially fulfilled. So really appreciate everyone's support. Fatal is launching on Tuesday, and it's just so beautiful. I'm super interested to see how well we can do, how we can climb. Really, you're talking about a couple of unknown creators. I've got 2 indie books under my belt, 2 successful crowdfunding campaigns, but we're trying to level up. We're trying to hit the next level of success that I think that there's a small group of people really that reach it because they have experience in comics. They're professionals, they have a history and things. So I'm really hoping that that people will support the project. You never know what to expect. So many little things, but I'm very proud of Charlie, all the stuff that he's done. I'm very proud of the writing that I've done. I think the story is exciting, and can't wait to launch the campaign and see what y'all think. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below about all this, and we'll continue to watch the demise of mainstream comics. And in the meantime, we're going to continue making our own books. So appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.